So these are those lateral step downs as we talked about when you were here. You can have a hand there for support, and what I want to see is I want you to be able to go down, tap your foot, and either come back up or slowly tap your foot, lightly set down, and then come all the way back up. What I don't want is that kind of drop towards the end. So if you get that drop towards the end, grab another piece of support, and you can go ahead and use a chair or a pole of some sort, and I want you to lower yourself down. Even if you have to use quite a bit of pressure, I want you to lower yourself down to the point where you don't get that buckling, and you're able to complete that movement without buckling. So if you're kind of getting to that point where it's like, oh, I'm starting to lose it, push harder into the chair, and slowly lower that body down so you can increase that time under tension and that pressure on those tendons through that knee to help build some more strength. You can do this one with or without a band around the knees. If I had to pick between the two, I would say band around the knees would be a good thing. However, it's completely necessary. This is that sit to stand with the slow touch. So what I want you to do is I want you to start at a higher level and then gradually work it down. But what I want you doing is I want you sitting, sitting, sitting. And then if you have pads on here and you touch, then stand, okay? It's totally okay if you fail, but as you go down, what I want to prevent is you kind of get into this position and feeling like you have to fall. So if you're at that point, then just do something where you barely can make it back up. So if you're here, you're kind of, okay, I'm sitting, starting to get tough, I touch and barely make it back up. That's a perfect level for you at that point, and then gradually work down further and further and further. So these are isometric lunges and even some like pulsing lunges. So what we're going to do here, going to kind of simulate having a chair on that countertop. You can use two different levels of support if you want to. When you're lunging down, if you remember, I want you to keep that back leg going almost straight down. So you're not keeping that back leg straight leaning forward. You're going to be going down. Just go to the level you feel comfortable at, and you can go and hold it. Goal would be about 30 seconds. If you can't quite get there, you can only do 15 before like losing form or breaking down. Just do 15. Once that becomes a little bit easy and you're able to kind of hit 30 seconds, no problem, you can either go lower or you can start incorporating some little lunging pulses where you're going up and down, using your arms as much as you feel like you need to have good form. And then once you get better and better at them, you can use just one hand or you can use no hands. So this one here is a hamstring curl with an ankle weight, and I'm also going to show you the glute extension one as well. So hamstring curl, you're just going to be doing this here, curling that hamstring up. You're still going to keep tension on the hamstring a little bit as you straighten that leg out, okay? You're going to curl it all the way up as high as you can, still keeping tension on that hamstring, really squeezing muscles behind your knees. I would use as heavy of an ankle weight as you feel like you can. I don't want you curling to here and that's it. I want you trying to curl up as far as you possibly can and allowing that leg to straighten. So that's the hamstring curl aspect. If you want to add a little bit of tension or change it, you can also add a band, kind of how we did here, but I would just stick with a heavier ankle weight and go for higher reps. So this is a banded version of the hamstring curl. I just have this band attached to an anchor point. I'm sitting in a chair. We did it on a physio ball, which you can more than welcome to do it on a physio ball at home. It's just a lot more challenging stability wise. So what I want you to do is, if you have a chair, I don't want you leaning against the back of the chair, okay? And I want this leg activated and your quad muscle squeezing, so this muscle being squeezed. And then what I'm going to have you do is pull this leg backwards. You should feel this hamstring engage. So as you're pulling back, I want this leg kind of pushing forward, digging into the ground, engaging. And you're going to relax. So you can adjust the distance of how far away the chair is from the band, obviously, to make it either more tension or less tension. But you're going to do a nice slow rhythm. When you get to the end, you're going to hold it, squeeze it, really trying to fire this muscle in the back, that hamstring. The glute extension one, you're going to kind of lock yourself into this one position. So when my knee is bent this far, that's all the farther I'm going to bend it. I'm going to kick and extend my hip backwards. And you should feel it in the glute muscle. You should also probably feel it in the hamstring muscle a little bit as well. But I really want you kicking that leg straight back. I want you to do it on both sides because you're actually going to feel it in the leg that you're stabilizing with as well. To make it more challenging, you use less pressure to stabilize your upper body. To make it a little bit easier, you can lean over and really focus on just that glute. This one's that dumbbell lateral leg lift. You can use a band, if you remember, having a band around the knees. You can do it with a band, pulling apart like this. You can do it with a dumbbell as well, pulling apart like this. So With the dumbbell, I'm just gonna show you, you're just gonna hang it down by the side, find a wall for support, but you're gonna be putting a lot of weight on just the single leg and kind of using that for stability. Bringing this leg out to the side, nice and high, nice and rhythmically, using those lateral glute muscles. You should feel it in both of your legs, okay? As this one's stabilizing and this one is working. From the side, what I want it to look like is I don't want this knee coming forward as you're going out, okay? If you see how I'm here, it's gonna stay completely parallel with that leg, or you can even go back into a little bit of extension where that knee slightly comes behind the hip. I don't want you hiking forward this way, otherwise you're not using the glute. The hip has to go straight sideways or even into slight extension as you're lifting up that way. Once you get more advanced and you get those ankle weights, should you get them for Christmas, you can make this a little more challenging by using an ankle weight even, keeping this leg straight and bringing the leg out to the side with your hand on your hip, okay? The ankle weight being lower on the leg is gonna create more of a lever, causing it to be a little bit more challenging. So this is another option you can do as well. If you see from the side, I'm not kicking my leg forward at all. My leg is going straight out to the side or even slightly into extension to really work that glute. So this is that single leg kettlebell RDL. So what you're gonna do, find something to hold yourself on. Okay, whatever hand is on the support system, that inside leg is gonna be down towards that side and the weight's gonna be in your opposite hand. So I'm gonna lower myself down, hinging, okay? And I'm gonna be standing up, pushing that hip forward to bridge back up. If it's hard single leg, you can always tap that back foot down to help give yourself some stability. So from the front, this is what it looks like. Driving the hip forward. From the side, I'm gonna show you here. What I want it to look like is this knee. It unlocks, okay? But it doesn't bend any farther than what it unlocks. So it unlocks, and you're gonna be hinging over. Hinging, hinging, hinging. You should feel a good little stretch in the hamstring. And then when you're firing, you're pushing this hip forward and engaging the glute and hamstring to fire, okay? So it's down here as far as you feel like you can. I don't want you to get lower by doing this or bending the knee. This is all locked into place. And a good way to kind of remember how to do this is if you keep your eyes up and look forward, it's harder to drop your chest if your eyes are up looking forward. Be in this position, then you're gonna push this hip forward to return to that standing position.